Okay, let's continue with our series of parenting tips. If you have not seen our other videos, take a look at our YouTube site and in relation to parenting tips, and you're going to see additional videos there. And also visit our blog. We have an entire section that I'm setting up and I'm creating called Parenting Tips. Go to strongfamilylegacy.com and then go into the blog section, and you're going to see at the bottom there's a section there that says English, another section that says Spanish, and then the other section is parenting tips. Okay, so let's continue with our program here, which is called today The Importance of Crystal Clear Rules for Your Child. And the problem and the issue here is the world is a far more scary and complicated place than it was when you were a child. You remember back at that time? As a result, it's imperative that you set adequate yet fair boundaries for your child. It's a very important role in your parenting responsibility. Children must make difficult decisions each day continuously. They're going through all these decisions in their mind. And now with the influence of social media, and most of the kids today, they all have cell phones. There's a lot of influence, external influence, that they are being bombarded and receiving from their friends and schoolmates and friends from church, and also a lot of bullying goes on. And if they don't have clear, firm boundaries set, they may not always make the wisest choice. So limits teach children proper restraint in social and individual activities and provide children with necessary structure and security to assist in the healthy development. Setting limits also provide children with guidance before they have an opportunity to get in trouble, thus making them more successful in everyday life. I remember when I was a kid, 13, 14 years old in New York, I used to hang out and walk around in the streets on 105th Street in Corona, Queens with my friends. And all of them were about the same age and some older than me, like 15 or 16. And they were not the best of kids. And we were not guided. We had no influence of, or even much less, adult supervision. And sometimes they used to do things that were not right. A child's age and developmental level needs to be considered when setting limits. All children have a need for independence and individualization. However, they also need structure, security, and parental involvement. It goes without saying that the needs of a 2-year-old vary greatly than those of a teenager. I remember when my daughter was a young child in school, 4th and 5th grade, she would be in a soccer team and practice, and even when she was in a high school, she got into a softball team, and I was continuously with her. We would go with her to the stores to buy her equipment, help her to make the proper selection, and also on top of that, in her practices, most of the practices we were there, but we were continuously aware of what is going on. A toddler has a strong desire to explore and investigate, but parameters need to be set to ensure their safety while doing so. Teenagers need to be able to be an individual and be independent, but with strong parental guidance and influence are more likely to make smart choices in difficult situations. Limits should be discussed and set prior to the situation. Though situations arise that weren't planned on, daily situations should have set limits and expectations. A teenager who breaks curfew, for example, may have the privilege of going out with friends revoked until they learn respect by the rules. A child who misbehaves while playing with a friend may need to be separated from the fun until they can learn to properly behave. The Bible says in Proverbs, "Train up a child in the way they should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And that is so true. I remember, for example, also when my son was in the Boy Scouts. He was in the Cub Scouts first, and he transferred over to the Boy Scouts. I was with him all along the way, both of us, Vilmer and myself. But I would mainly on the weekends go with him when we would have campouts. And I was amazed at the amount of youth and children and young boys that their moms would send them out camping just dropping them off at the Boy Scout hut, which is where we used to meet on Friday night, and we used to leave and come back on Sunday. And well, most of them were single moms, and they would just drop off these young boys, and they had no supervision. But it was a blessing that myself and other leaders, other parents, male parents were with them, and we were guiding them, we were helping them along the way. But at the same time, I would also keep an eye out on my son and also give him guidance and help him when he was able to capture his first fish, and even before capturing his first fish, to help him or actually to put the worm on the bait and the hook, and all of these areas which were the first timers for them. It's important for a parent to be there, especially if it's a father, have a father figure with the sons and also the daughters. It is extremely important, okay? Children respond in a positive manner in an environment in which they know what to expect and what is expected of them. A child will be more respectful towards rules and more willing to abide by them if the rules are clear and consistent. It's incredible how today, now both my kids, my son and my daughter, are adults, and still they confer that with them. We have family meetings, and they ask, can I do this? What should I do here? What vehicle will help me to buy a vehicle? And we went through all the process of when they're going through an area that they don't know, the first thing they do is they ask their mom and they ask their dad, because they know we have gone through these experiences. And sometimes you understand that our past experiences weren't always the best. But that's how we learn. We've learned by these bad experiences to fight the next battle. Children respond in a positive manner in an environment in which they know what to expect and what is expected of them. A child will be more respectful towards rules and more willing to abide by them if the rules are clear and consistent. Additionally, it's crucial that once a limit is set, that they caregivers stick to it. A child is less likely to try and manipulate a caregiver into changing the limits when their experience has been and there's no bending on the limits, okay? So they know this along the way. They know how much they could bend you, not only you bend them. They know how much they could bend the rules, because if you bend the rules once or twice, when they come the third time in a similar situation, they will test you. And remember, you are the one who sets the limits and lays down the law. There's no need to argue with your child now. There's no need to be harsh and strong. Just be firm and consistent, and they are less likely to challenge the rules and will accept the consequences.